Welcome to Up the Sleeve. This is my first installment and first attempt at what I'm going to call an honest disclosure of the life of a magician. Many of you know my name is Brian Cassady. Some of you have known me for a very long time. Some have probably never met me before. But what I want to do is share a little bit about my personal journey as a magician. It's something that is pretty recent as a professional, but it actually reaches back quite some time into my past. So with no further ado, I'll begin. It was about the fourth grade, and I went to Sylvan Elementary School at that time here in Modesto, California. And at that time, I went to a school assembly. And unbeknownst to me, I was going to get hooked by a magician up on a stage. And on that particular day, he showed us lots of things that amazed me, and most of those kids, I'm sure, if not all of them, went home and went on to other things. Well, it stuck with me. Why it stuck with me, I couldn't tell you. But it did stick with me, and I went home and I remember doing a trick for my mom, and it was wonderfully empowering for a fourth grader to be able to do something and not tell the truth. And it was just infectious, I guess. And what he showed us was how to make a magic wand stick to your hand. And he did something like this, which seems pretty self-evident at the time, but it fooled my first audience, my mom. And basically, you're holding it with a finger. Nevertheless, that got me started. And I began to put together tricks and different things around the house and began to buy a few books. And I got this, this fulfillment of entertaining and filling people with mystery and wonder. Essentially passing on that same initial feeling of wonder that I experienced as a fourth grader to other people. Well, I did it probably through my high school year, about sophomore, and it was just a hobby. I did it in competitive speech at Bayer High School. It's called expository speaking. I competed, did pretty well. It was a demonstration speech on magic. And somewhere around the 10th, 11th grade, I kind of put it aside. And that's where it sat for over 30 years. And I would say just over 2 years ago, I developed an interest, again, in magic as a hobby. I'd always been fascinated with it, but just never had the time, the wherewithal, the resources, the means to get into it again. Well, I got a few effects together, and I started doing them for family, friends, what have you, and I started getting really interested, reading more books and buying more things, and I got a big break at the Sacramento State Fair. A good friend of mine named Sean Durham, that I work with at Modesto Frito-Lay, a job I've had for almost 3 years now, is a professional magician and has been for probably 30 years. And he gave me the confidence, as a friend, to go to the Sacramento State Fair. And I performed, I believe, for 4 3-hour venues. A lot of exposure, a lot of intrepidation, but nevertheless, I jumped in, I did it, and I realized that I can perform magic in a way that fools people. Now, fooling people isn't my goal. My goal is entertainment, but nevertheless, magic that does not mislead is not magic. Well, that got me going. That was in August of 2018, about 6 months ago. I am now a full-fledged professional magician. I still have a day job, still work at Frito-Lay. My wife enjoys Kaiser, Delta Dental, and vision benefits, which do not come with magic shows. Neither do 401ks. So I'm doing both. I do a day job, a blue-collar job, as a packager and processor at Frito-Lay, and at night, I'm a white-collar entertainer. I perform at 3 restaurants, 3 locations a week, couple hours each night, meeting hundreds of people, perfecting my close-up skills. So this is something that I'm going to be talking about, my journey. Now you know the inception, just a little bit about my background. And what I'm going to be doing on a week-to-week basis is just sharing a little bit more about this ongoing journey, just to look behind the scenes, behind the curtain, up the sleeves, just honest exposure of my life as an entertainer, why I enjoy it, what are the challenges, etc. Where do I see myself going? Those kinds of things. And hopefully along the way, I'm also going to be sharing some transferable principles to your life. Do you have a dream? Do you have a vision? Do you have a desire? Do you have a hobby? Do you have an interest that you haven't acted on? Maybe you should, because that's basically what I did. And it's become something that is larger than I have imagined. And we'll talk about that as we walk forward once a week, just exposing, not the secrets behind magic, but just the theory, the philosophy, the life of a magician. So I welcome you to follow me as we go up the magician's sleeves and see the real secrets and the real magic behind the life of a performing magician. Thank you, and I look forward to sharing the wonder with you.